I guess it's fairly simple. I don't think it's that crazy to think that we could have basic dignity for every human. I mean, that's, a good life with meaning, community. It's maybe not a wild dream, but, a livable planet with clean air and clean water, dignity and meaning in our lives, family and community around us, where we see every human being as a human being, where workers in their workplaces are treated like human beings, where they own, are able to benefit from the fruits of their labor. It sounds radical, but I think it's fairly simple and fairly basic in what all human beings should be entitled to, especially in a wealthy country such as ours. There's just absolutely no excuse for it. I mean, poverty is ultimately a tool of social control. That's right. Because if people are desperate, you can make them work for $7.25. You can skimp on their wages. You can keep them down. You can keep them so tired that they can't participate politically. So it's a choice. That's a choice that we've made in this country to have the poverty that we have, and we could make a different choice.
A cornerstone of my vision for the future is the idea of democracy at work. We always talk about democracy in the political sphere, and of course we have not achieved a perfect democracy in the political sphere. One of the reasons why we haven't is precisely because we don't have democracy at work. So what I mean by that, and I'm going to recite something that probably a lot of you know, but I'm going to do it anyway in case some of you don't, is that capitalism describes an economic structure where the vast majority of people have to work for a wage to purchase the basic necessities of life. They work for a boss for that wage. The boss gives them the lowest possible wage that they can possibly get away with based on the degree of class struggle and the laws, which are, of course, a result of class struggle. They appropriate the rest of the value of that labor as profit and keep it for themselves. And that's why they're so rich. And that's also why a lot of working people are so poor. So when we talk about democracy at work, we're talking about eliminating that relationship. We're talking about a more cooperative structure in the economy where we don't have tyrannical fiefdoms in the area of production. And I do think that that will have a salutary effect for democracy in the political sphere as well. So that's the basic set of principles that I start from when I'm getting utopian.
Question. Communist space travel. Shout out to Michael Brooks, sorry. I think I can only think of one word, and it is democracy. Everybody else has said it's been poetry, but democracy is what I seek. It's how I describe democratic socialism in its purest state. It's what inspires me about this movement, and hopefully we'll see people as humans, every single person equally as a human and not as some sort of financial asset.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking of notes, and there's like a common thread here because with the question about history, and I used to teach history, but there's something really important about oral history and history from below, and I think everyone actually should have their students read oral history, but also do it as homework. It's really great. And that's kind of the equivalent of a movement, though, right? It's not telling the story. It's not the powerful people. It's the anonymous people. It's people whose stories haven't been told. And I think that, for me, I guess there's two things happening at the same time, right? You have Sanders as a person, and as he's always like the idea. He puts R's at the end of words where they don't have it, and then takes them off where they do. And I come from a long line of people who do that, so I love it. But he's like, it's not like people over these ideas are like from people living like in the mountains in the avant-garde or whatever. These are like popular ideas. So that is very exciting, and it's a great combination of how you have like individuals making these ideas intelligible, but also you have huge mass movements behind them. And that combination is really exciting, and that I guess is the utopia, the first step for the utopia that I see. And it's not utopian. That's what's so great about it.
Yeah.
It's not utopian. It's very possible. Yeah.